You're listening to How to 20-something, the best podcast that helps both men and women navigate their 20s and learn how to adult across all aspects of their lives. We're going to focus on career, relationships, finances, fitness, nutrition, and all of the common challenges and obstacles a typical 20-something will face in this post-college life. I'm your host, Jess Diamond, and I am the CEO and founder of Jess Diamond Coaching, where I help young professionals get their shit together, gain their confidence, and own their life. No one prepares you for this adulting world, so allow me to help you feel like you are no longer a chicken running around with its head cut off, and that you actually know what the hell is going on and what your next step to take is. Welcome to How to 20-something. Welcome back to another episode of How to 20-something with a repeat guest because her content was just too good last year when we talked about bodybuilding that I had to bring her back on this year to discuss nutrition, facts, and fables. There is so much misleading information on the internet, and it can make eating healthy or eating healthy for your body really difficult. As nutrition coaches, Dee and I both have very outlandish conversations with clients who just don't know or have been previously misled, and we decided that it would be a fun idea to break it all down for you. Because your nutrition is the foundation to your entire well-being, right behind sleep. You guys know how I feel about sleep. So without it, without proper knowledge, backed by research to support it, you won't reach any physique goals or health goals that you're after. You can't out-train a bad diet, but you also need to know what constitutes a bad diet, what are poor eating habits, and where you should redirect your focus to elicit the changes you want to see. So, who better to discuss this topic than a pro bodybuilder and not some run-of-the-mill fitness influencer who shows a what I eat in the day video and you know nothing about his or her background or experience or genetics or hormones, etc. So we've got the expert on here. And similar to the fitness myths episode I did a few weeks ago, you can't copy what someone else is doing because you have different bodies. Meaning, just because something worked for someone else does not mean it's going to work for you. So, without further ado, let me reintroduce Dee and welcome her back to the podcast. Dee Jackson is a certified personal trainer, weight management consultant, competition prep coach, social media influencer, but a good one, fitness enthusiast, IFBB professional bodybuilder, and the founder of Fit Nation. With over a decade of experience transforming lives, Dee specializes in helping clients from first-timers to national-level competitors build strength, lose fat, and reclaim their health. Known for her no excuses mindset and empowering approach, Dee combines science-backed strategies with a whole lot of heart. Her mission? To help you stop starting over and start living stronger, mind, body, and soul. Hi, Dee, and welcome back to How to 20-something.
Thanks for having me back. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm glad to have you on again, and we're going to run through this episode a little different than other episodes, where I'm going to shoot you a nutrition statement, and you're going to basically say whether it's true or false, and then we'll discuss why it's true or why it's false, or even why people are made to believe something is true. Now, some of these are going to relate to similar concepts within one another, but the way they're presented and broken down are going to be different. So, Dee, are you ready for the first one?
Yes.
Great. Nutrition statement number 1 is carbs make me fat.
Will carbs make me fat? The answer is no and yes. No and yes. Carbs by themselves would not make you fat. As a matter of fact, carbs, which is part of your macros, your macros is protein, fat, and carbs. That is your energy. However, carbs are bad if we eat too many carbs, just like if you eat too much protein and fat, that'll also make you fat. And the type of carbs that we're eating, case in point, are potatoes bad? No. But if I make French fries out of them and deep fry them in oil, yes. Is jasmine rice bad? No. But shrimp fried rice is bad. Is jasmine rice, if I steam it and cook it right, is it bad? Yes and no. Because even though it's good for me, I can still eat too much of it. And now I'm going to get fat. Or put on weight. So carbs, are they bad in general? No. How we prepare them and eating too much of it, that's what makes it bad.
Yeah, I think there's an on average 5 whole potatoes in a single family size bag of Lay's potato chips. So if you think of that alone, because a lot of carbs are highly palatable, they feel really
Yes.
good on your tongue and in your mouth to crunch on and to eat. And that's why you keep grabbing for more. But if you really broke that down of the Lay's potato chips, could you sit down and eat 5 whole potatoes in one sitting? No.
Yes.
Well, no, I don't
Oh
think
no,
that.
you're right. Actual, well, it depends on the person.
That's fair. It depends on the person. But like you're gonna get bored of eating it. You're gonna
Yeah,
get
for
full.
sure.
Like those things are gonna happen versus Lay's potato chips that dissolves on your tongue. Like you're just gonna keep shoveling those suckers in, and then all of a sudden the entire
Yes.
family size bag is consumed by one person. So
It's
that's
called
why
it's called slider foods.
slider foods.
Slider
Okay.
foods.
I
Yes.
like it. But I mean, that's why people think, like, oh, if I eat carbs, I'm going to overeat and it's going to make me fat. And it's like, well, what kind of carbs are you eating? And are you measuring it out? And and it's not even to say you can't have Lay's potato chips. They're just not going to fill you up in the same way a potato will. And you're probably not measuring out the potatoes that you need to eat or the potato chips you need to eat to make a complete serving. Because if you did, you're going to be very upset with what that serving looks like and be like, I need 5 more of these servings.
So true. Yeah, our perception when we look at the bag of potato chip and the potato, it's perception of this big bag of potato chips that tastes good versus this potato that I can cut up, put some great spices on it, and put it in my air fryer. It could actually taste just as good. But sometimes what I've found is that people want what they want, and they will continue to justify eating the bag of potato chips as opposed to just eating a potato because this is what I want until you don't get the results you want. So now carbs are bad. No, the carb wasn't bad. You just made a bad choice.
Yeah, I love that. This is a powerhouse statement to wrap up that first statement. So the second one is I don't have enough time to meal prep. You and I have talked about this one, so I'll let you take the floor first.
Yeah, I think that we it's prioritizing what's important to us. I'll give myself as an example. I meal prep at 6 a.m. in the morning on Sundays as soon as I get up. That's my downtime. I'm on the computer and I'm doing things. I'm throwing things in the oven because that's a good time for me to meal prep at 6 a.m. For somebody else, maybe it's 8 o'clock at night. I think what we have to do, first of all, is it a priority? Because we tend to make time for things that we really want to do. So how important is meal prep? And then sometimes, yeah, I've had people say, oh my God, this took me forever to do. And they just don't know how to do it. So on TikTok, I love TikTok Sunday because TikTok Sunday is meal prep Sunday. If you go on TikTok and you search for meal prep Sunday, it's tons and tons of ideas, quick fixes, how to prepare meals in 15 minutes in some cases. Me, I can prep a whole month of protein in an hour. I just cut it all up. I put it in the oven and then I freeze it. So I'm not always, because protein is the hardest to prepare. Rice, you can cook fast. Potatoes, whatever your carbs are, your vegetables, you can cook that really fast. So it all comes down to number one, is it a priority? Is it really important to you? Number two, sit down and pick the best time for you to meal prep. And you can still watch TV, do other things in between while your food is cooking. So, you got time to get dressed and go to the Beyonce concert and stay up all night, got 2 hours of sleep and went to work. Uh-huh. Yeah. That was a priority and got 2 hours of sleep. So why you can't meal prep? Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even this past weekend, I was meal prepping and I had High School Musical 2 on. While I was meal prep, I was like, yeah, I want to be entertained while I am in the kitchen on my feet chopping things up, and it's even like as my chicken's cooking, I'm microwaving some overnight oats at the same time, or like measuring things out, or cutting something else. So there's multiple things happening at once. So for me, it takes about an hour of my weekend from start to finish. And 60 minutes is not very long. You spend 60 minutes sitting on the couch scrolling on your phone. You can spend 60 minutes prepping food. And you don't have, I think a lot of the backlash with meal prepping is people don't like eating the same meals over and over again.
Yes.
And I personally cannot relate to that. I see it. I understand it. I am that person that can eat the same meals over and over again and never get bored. But meal prepping comes in all different shapes and sizes. So it doesn't have to be you're prepping all of your meals for the entire week. It could be you're prepping a couple meals that you know your schedule's a little tight. It could be you're prepping ingredients that you can then easily throw in to a skillet and make for itself. So there's what you said is like you're chopping up and measuring out your protein and then putting it in the freezer. That's a form of meal prepping. So there's a lot of different tactics where it's not only what you're made to believe by what you see online, where it is you're making the same exact meal to have for lunch every single day the entire week. Is that the easiest way to do it because you don't have to think as much? Yes, it is. But if you're someone that feels like you can't eat leftovers or re-microwave your food, or you want it fresh, like there are other options that still constitutes you meal prepping.
Yes. I think I've invested a lot in spices. I have a whole section in my kitchen that's just for spices. So I can take the protein and I can do curry, I can do garlic pepper, garden herb seasoning to make my food taste different every time I prepare it. But it's all going to go back to mindset. If I see meal prep as being something negative and torturous and too much, taking up too much of my time, then it will. It will be that way to you. But so you have to look at it at this is what's going to help me get to my goals. This is what's going to save me time throughout the week. And if you think about it, it's also going to save you money.
And it's going to make life easier.
Much easier. Oh my gosh. I love just grabbing my food and going. I meal prep 4 days at a time. It saves me so much time. I love it. And I don't feel like, some people, I mean, I don't want you to feel like you're a slave to it. It's not. It's actually freed me because I don't have to think about it and I have more time. So it's actually helping me to meal prep because it's helping me to save time. So you got to look at it in a positive way. And you know what? Stop being so lazy. It's everything that we want. It's going to require work. Meal prepping is hard. Sometimes I don't want to do it, but not meal prepping and making bad choices out of convenience throughout the week because I didn't meal prep, that's also hard. Because when I get on the scale on Friday, I can't say, what happened? Well, you ate out of convenience all week. Nothing was measured because you didn't meal prep.
Yeah. And if anyone's like me who's listening and hates doing the dishes, it's less dishes throughout the week. You just have one container versus like the whole pots and pans and cleaning down your kitchen every time. Like that's honestly
so true.
A large part of my own motivation is like I don't have to do all of these dishes every single day.
That's true. I didn't think about that. That's true.
Yeah.
5 dishes. That's it.
All right. The third statement, true or false? I should aim to hit my body weight in grams of protein every day.
That's false.
What's the truth?
The truth, everybody's different. Everybody's body is not the same. I have a client, if I give her more than 4 ounces of protein per meal, she bloats horribly. If you're somebody like me who weight trains on the level that I do, I might require, when I start carb cycling, some days I require more protein than I do others, especially when I start leaning out and I pull my carbs. Some of my carbs, I have to up my protein or my fats to compensate. That's a whole nother conversation. But no, that's not true. I got to hit them. What if you hit them and you gain weight? Maybe your body is sensitive and it doesn't like all that protein. My body loves protein. Actually, my body does not do well with a lot of carbs. I had to learn that. My body does well with a lot of protein and a lot of fats than carbs. So you have to kind of watch your body, listen to your body, see how it responds when you do certain things, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, later about consistency. But no, that's not true. Don't torture yourself trying to hit this amount. Is eating protein important? Absolutely, especially when you get to be my age. It's very important. But, hitting a certain number all the time, no, that's not true.
Is there a minimum that you should be hitting for overall health? Because I think it's in the fitness world, we're told like 1-for-1 body weight per
Yeah.
gram of protein. And it's more of just like an easier way to not severely undereat your protein. Is like, oh, I have a goal, a target I'm trying to reach, and you don't have to hit that number. You don't have to go over that number, but you don't want to be extremely far under it. So
No, I agree that there should be a good start is pound for pound or ounce for pound. I do think that's a good place to start. But then monitor. Me, I actually eat more protein than that. I have to. So it just again, you just have to monitor what your body likes and what it doesn't. That's just a good base point. But I'm not going to say that that's how you have to do it. It's not true. It depends on the person.
yeah, it's just protein keeps you fuller for longer,
Yes.
very satiating, and it aids in the muscle building process. So that's why like it is the most important macro for you to be eating. But as far as the nuanced pound of body weight per gram of protein every single day, to Dee's point, it's going to depend on the person and how your body responds. I'm like you, Dee. I respond better with more protein than my body weight because otherwise I feel like I'm snacking all day or I'm constantly hungry and like I need a little bit more to help me get to my next meal or my next snack.
Yeah, and if you weren't paying attention to your body and eating can kind of like the same thing consistently, you would know that that's what your body needed. Yeah.
Right, next one. When logging my food, I need to also include the calories I burned from my workout.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I've
Now,
heard no. Like I believe because like you don't actually know the exact calories you're burning in your workout. There's activity factors,
yeah.
but like calorie for calorie.
So what I do is I do think it's true. I do cut my device on when I start working out. So I know how many calories I burn when I work out and how many calories I burn throughout the day, like activity, working out, it breaks it down for me. That is why I do think it's important. And I see a lot of women fall into this. You are working out like a bandit, all this cardio, all these classes, and you give yourself 1,500 calories because you think that's going to make you lose weight faster. And initially it does until you don't have enough food and it just stalls. So what ends up happening is because you're not eating enough, fueling your body like it should be, then I have them do an in body and they're like, I lost muscle mass. I'm like, yeah, because you're working out so much and what you're eating is not, it doesn't line up to the amount of calories that you're burning. Now, me, I'm in a deficit right now, for example. Right now, I burn throughout the course of the day about 2,600 calories a day. I move a lot. I have a lot of muscle. Right now, I'm eating 1,900 calories and my weight is going down. And people are like, 19, how could you lose weight? Because of how many calories I burn throughout the day. You see me just walking back and forth in the gym, loading weights. Then I got an hour and a half workout. Then I got to do cardio. So if I was giving myself 12 and 1,300 calories, I'm going to lose muscle. That's not enough. So you should have a general idea of how many calories you're burning per day to make sure you're eating enough. Then you have just the opposite. People that don't do anything, you're not burning off the food that you're putting in. Your activity level is 1,200 calories, but you're eating 3,000 calories a day. You're not tracking, so you're overeating. So you're going to gain weight. So do I know the exact figure? Can someone figure it out exact? Probably not. But you should have a good idea of how much you're eating versus how much you're burning. That's very important.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the type of workout you're doing. Because
Yes.
a lot of people are like, oh, well, or what unit of measurement you're using to give you the feedback of calories burned. So I'd say like watches are getting better, but it's still not an exact science. Your treadmill is going to be dead wrong,
The treadmill is
whatever it tells you.
wrong.
Yeah, it is not accurate. So a lot of people will go on to like MyFitnessPal or something similar and be like, well, yeah, I burned 700 calories in my workout. And I'm like, no, you didn't. That's not possible.
Well,
Unless you were,
yes, I mean it is. My leg day, I burned about 600 on my leg day.
well, the average person,
Yeah, that's true. The average
like,
person, the average person does about 300,
yeah.
and that's a really good workout.
Yeah,
300.
and that's like I'd say on average, according to my watch, my workouts are like 250, 275. And it's a full body workout for an hour. According to my watch. And like I feel like that's
probably wrong.
You think that's wrong?
For a whole hour, yeah.
Oh, I don't think that's wrong.
Okay, we're gonna have to bump it up a little bit.
My boyfriend also says I definitely don't work hard enough in the gym.
Yeah, that hour, that's about 500 for easy. Yeah. So
But it's a harder thing for the average person who's just getting started. I think it's either you're going to consistently include your workouts, and your workout should be also on a plan and like consistent from week to week.
Yes.
So that's the same. Or you don't include your workouts and just monitor your calories and your macros so that you're not adding it in and then not adding it in, or like putting in a walk, putting in a strength training session, and like you're just not, it's more inconsistent in that regard versus for someone getting started or someone that wants overall health, it's like not including it just to not add in that extra thought process. Or the other way around is a habit I've seen is people be like, well, I burned this many calories so I can eat that many calories to gain it back. Or like I burned off the cookie that I ate or something. So it kind of gets into more of disordered eating and a poor relationship with food when you think of like food and exercise working together in that way of calorie for calorie, I ate this, I burned it off kind of thing. And that's where it gets a little messed up.
Yeah, and that way, that's not true. That's
Yeah.
not true. You're not going to work out. You can't out exercise a bad diet. There has to be some type of control and consistency. That's why it's important to stay consistent. Kind of do a periodical, the same workout over and over again, which you should be doing that anyway in order to be progressive, especially if you're trying to put on muscle. Doing this, staying consistent so you can know your body and have a general idea of how much food you need. Let me just give a quick example. If you work out, let's say I work out at 11 o'clock and I eat 30 minutes before, when I'm done with my leg day, I am starving. I mean, like I haven't eaten all day. That's a good indicator that I just burned off everything, probably, and a little bit that I've basically ate before. It's safe to say I'm tremendously hungry. So I'm going to eat again. I just burned, my watch is telling me today that I burned 632 calories. So my next meal has 425 calories in it. Because again, I'm in a deficit, to your point, to not eat exactly what I thought I burned out. But I'm not going to eat like a protein shake. That's not enough compared to the work I just did. That's not going to be enough. But you need to stay consistent, to know your body. I do, me personally, just dealing with the clients that I deal with, especially women, they don't eat enough. They don't, they're not tracking, they're working out so hard, they're just burning off muscle. And they don't know how much they're working out. So I'm like, you can still go to the gym if you want to. You can stay there 2 hours if you want to. You just got to eat enough eat enough to compensate how much you're working out. I just had this conversation with a client. Yep, you lost muscle because you're at the gym for 2 hours. You work out a lot. So you need to eat to compensate for that.
Yeah, I think people just get scared of putting on fat instead. So it's like, they're going to the gym because they want to look better. They want to lose weight. So
Yes.
for them, they think of more calories in, calories out as like, I shouldn't be eating a lot. And I've just started with 2 new personal training clients just this week. And both of them said, I know I'm not eating enough. but they want to build muscle. And it's like, well, what's going to fuel that muscle?
Food.
Yeah, food. But it's hard. It's hard because they think I don't want to put on the fat. I don't want to gain weight. But and then I have to explain like muscle does weigh more. So like if the scale goes up, it could be muscle. But also, what are you eating? But at the end of the day, I know a lot of females, in particular, males too, but females undereat because they don't want to put on fat,
Yeah.
and now they're caught in this trap that they've put themselves in. So how can someone get out of that?
Well, it goes back to what you said about having a poor relationship with food and just defining what food does. I do have my clients, I tell them go and look at what each macro does and why each one is important, why you need all of them. Then, do you feel tired throughout the day? Yeah. Did you eat breakfast? No. When was the time you eat your next meal? Two. Did you binge on coffee? Yes. Well, coffee is a natural diuretic. You didn't feel hungry, but you felt tired because you didn't eat. Food is energy. So now my metabolism is slowed down, right? My body is storing what little energy that it has. I didn't give me any energy throughout the course of the day. Just my bad relationship with food. Then I go home and I binge eat because I haven't eaten all day. And then you tell me, I don't eat a lot. Well, yeah, you do. You just eat all your food in one sitting. So we got to change that relationship with food that you think that if I don't eat all day and I eat this last meal, I'll be okay. Or I'm scared to eat these little meals out the day because I'm going to get fat. That comes from not measuring and not knowing what you're eating. So I think the more we educate ourselves about food, I'm not talking about social media and influencers and stuff that we read. You need to go out and be an advocate for yourself. How food works. How does it work for me? And don't be afraid to like even experiment. I've done it. I've said, okay, how does my body respond to this? How does my body respond to that? But I think we just have to, the more educated you become, the more that fear of eating isn't there. And I think that's what happens. It's easier for us to not eat and binge later. It's easier for us to take a pill. It's easier for us to get surgery. It's easier for us to blame the personal trainer for not getting results than just sit down and educate yourself about food so that fear isn't there. That's just my opinion.
I agree. A lot of people are afraid of food. I know I used to be afraid of food, and luckily, like for the most part, don't have that relationship anymore. I mean, I would say my dairy allergy has helped cut out any bad habits like pastries and desserts because I simply can't have it anymore. But that took a trial and error on its own. If I had to learn what was giving me such a bad reaction to like my skin was just flaring up all the time and had to learn. And it's like that doesn't happen to everybody. That's not everyone has the same allergies, and just knowing what's going to work for your body and give you the results, but also not going off the deep end because I do know people that are eating less than 1,200 calories a day and walking 5+ miles and lifting weights and doing yoga and like just moving their body an obsessive amount. And for what? Like they don't look good. They look like their body is eating themselves alive because it is, because they're not fueling themselves. And it breaks my heart to see that. And it's something that unfortunately like we do come across in this industry, in the fitness and nutrition industry, but that is on the more extreme side of like they need extra resources, extra help that's out of our scope of they're clearly struggling with their relationship with food and exercise.
Well, you have to go back to social media. We're social media junkies, and anything that looks quick and easy, that's what we want to do. To people that don't eat, just afraid of food, and just don't want to eat. I mean, look at the images that they see on social media, right? But these people also we have filters that can change the shape of a person's body, that thin.
Angles, lighting,
Yes,
everything.
we had gotten away from that where everybody wanted this athletic look, but I do see just slowly we're going back to that very thin physique that wasn't in, and now it's coming back in again for some crazy reason. Everybody wants to be super thin again. And I don't think women understand that when you are underweight, it messes with your hormones. It messes with your hormones, but then it'll start affecting you mentally, depression, and your fertility. The bottom line is you have to find what works for you. Social media can just show you anything. You need to find what works for you. And again, it's going to require work and it's going to require research. So you got to pick your heart.
Yeah. I think I made a post about this, the health blindness that I think people who are now reverting back to the I want to be skinny stages is that they're like, oh, but I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm working out all the time. I'm eating healthy. It's like I'm doing everything right, but it's to the extreme that they're not the healthiest they've ever been. They're actually the unhealthiest they've ever been, but in the opposite direction.
Yes. And I don't think we talk about that enough. We pick on people who are overweight, but I'm seeing the extreme opposite more and more. Yeah. Which is just as bad.
Yeah. It's dangerous, both ends. I mean, you never want to be on one extreme side of a spectrum.
No, never. Never.
All right. Going to move into our next statement. All calories are created equally.
No.
Yeah. Correct. No.
All calories are not created equal. I got to use an example I use with one of my clients about reading calories on food.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Where there's like a 20% error rate. Okay.
Yes. It's not accurate, first of all, how many calories that you see on food. And then another mistake, a common mistake, since we're talking about calories on food, is that we don't look at the servings and everything on the back of the label that make up the ingredients. I'll use what's that one protein ice cream everybody was running out getting at one point?
Oh, I don't know the name.
I can't remember the name of the ice cream, but here's a good example. 1 pint of the vanilla bean is 280 calories. That's pretty low for the whole pint. That one little pint was actually 3 servings, but it really was 280 calories. But 3 servings. 1 serving was 18 grams of sugar. So that's 18 times 3. And the fat was, I think, like 17 or something. That's 17 times 3. So we're not looking at the serving sizes. We're just looking at, well, it says it's only 200 some calories. This must be okay. No, it's not okay. You have to look at the whole picture, the whole spectrum. And then if something is high in calorie, doesn't necessarily make it bad. No, again, it depends on how many calories you need, your total macros, how many you need in the course of a day. So as soon as we see 300 calories, and then throw it down, right? But what does that 300 calories consist of? Let's say your oats. You put all your oats together, maybe it's 400 calories, but it's 400 of some really good calories that's going to keep you full for like 3 hours. So we're chasing these calorie numbers like, that's 400 calories. I can eat that. I can only eat 200. Yeah, well, that's not enough calories. And again, back to products, make sure you read the whole label. What that whole product, with those calories, everything, what it consists of before you say that calories are bad. I'm looking at it from the amount. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Well, the example I always think of is little olive oil spray cans. And it's like, it says 0 calories on the back. But like, we know olive oil is not 0 calories. And you look at the serving size and it's like 1/4 of a second of a spray. It's like, who is spraying it for 1/4 of a second?
That's a really good example.
Like, obviously that is not the case. This is not 0 calories being put onto the skillet right now or onto my chicken.
What has 0 calories in it? Ice? Water?
Yeah, probably, yeah, water. But it's the all calories are created equally. I think people believe that because it stems off of the law of thermodynamics of calories in versus calories out, which is true,
Yeah.
but it's also not true. And I think I've mentioned this on like other episodes because it's the metabolism is so nuanced. Like
No.
no one has the same metabolism. It is as undiscovered as the universe or as the deep ocean. Like there's so much science behind it that has yet to be finalized and known that it's really all just an estimate. And as Dee has been saying, is like you have to know how your body reacts. So yeah, you can be given an equation to calculate what your metabolism, like what you're burning at
Mm-hmm.
rest, what your basal metabolic rate is. And then you have to figure out for yourself if you're not eating anywhere near that amount, but you've been maintaining your weight, then that's not yours. So like take it with a grain of salt for one, and then two is the calories you're eating can either like yes, calories in versus calories out, and a calorie is a calorie no matter what, but to the other side of that is one calorie can, or not one, but
Yeah.
a piece of food that contains calories can keep you fuller for longer and have you making better decisions and decrease your cravings and keep you energized. And then another one is going to make you staying within your macros and within your caloric range a lot harder because you're going to have cravings and you're going to have spikes and drops. And so it
It's
is
a yes and
like
no.
yes and no, but at the
No.
end of the day, like all calories are not created equally because they do react differently in your body based on what you're putting in it, as well as how your body as the individual responds to it.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks. All right. Moving into the next statement. Eating every 2 to 3 hours is how I can boost my metabolism.
No, that's not true.
All right. Explain.
That is not true. Again, it depends on the individual and the level of activity that you're doing throughout the course of the day. You don't have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, but should you wait hours, 5 and 6 hours to eat? No, because you're probably going to binge later because you waited too long. And at some point, you do slow down your metabolism. But again, you have to listen to your body. Now, me, because I'm constantly moving all the time, and my body is more muscle than fat, I burn calories faster than maybe another person whose body fat percentage might be 26. My body fat percentage right now is 9 because I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. So I'm hungry all the time. Okay. So so eating every 3 hours, I feel like I'm gonna die. So I have to just to keep up with that. Let me give another good example is Michael Phelps, the swimmer. His calories for breakfast. His mother used to make these stacks of pancakes and sausage, 10,000 calories. And the average person might say, that is unbelievable. When you get in a pool and you swim for 3 hours and your body fat percentage is less than 10% like his, you have to eat like that. And you have to eat often, or he's going to lose muscle and he's not going to have the energy to perform. So I guess I always use a car. Are you driving a Ferrari? Or are you driving, now, not nothing wrong with Volkswagen, I'm just saying, or are you driving a Volkswagen? That kind of determines how often you need to eat. Now, I'm not a big fan of intermittent fasting. I'm not. If it works for you, fine. But I'm not a fan of it because most people, tell the truth and shame the devil, because most of y'all I talk to, I do consultations with, you do intermittent fasting because you're lazy and you want to just eat once a day and you eat all this garbage and gluttony and you don't lose weight. It's just, for some, it's just an excuse to eat once a day. Now, I'm just be honest. If you're trying to put muscle on and you have a busy lifestyle, that's probably not a good idea for you because you need a little bit more fuel than someone who's just sitting around and doing nothing. But back to the question, do I need to eat every 2 to 3 hours? Again, it's customized. It depends on the person. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm someone who's not training for a bodybuilding competition, and I'd say I have like an average amount of muscle, maybe above average amount of muscle on my body, but I've always been a grazer. I have never been a person that likes to feel stuffed. That is not enjoyable for me. I like to feel good and then go on. And so I am someone that has to eat every 2 to 3 hours. I'm hungry every 2 to 3 hours because I'm not eating massive meals in one sitting. I'm eating like maybe like 300-400 calories multiple times throughout the day, like 5-6 times throughout the day. And that's what makes my body feel good. And I am also someone that moves around a lot throughout the day. I mean, after we're done recording, I'm going to go train someone for 45 minutes, and that's me on my feet, moving weights around and interacting. Yeah. So it does depend on the person. I know people that prefer to have like 3 large meals throughout the day, and like that's what works for them. It carries them over to their next meal, and then they're good. They eat that one, carries them to their next, and so on and so forth. I'm not that person, and I know that about myself. And you as the listener have to know that about yourself with what's going to work, as well as not being stupid about it.
Let's talk about grazing for a minute.
Okay.
I feel like let's define what grazing is. Okay, grazing is not sitting at your desk, go buy a candy bar. They eat a bag of potato chips. They eat a bag of peanuts, because a lot of times that's stress eating or eating out of boredom. Grazers are, like she said, I have a grandson like that who was actually underweight. He was in the hospital for being underweight because he just didn't like food. He just didn't. And some people are like that. So I had to put food around the house, literally bowls of fruit, and I put a scarf on the refrigerator where he could open up the refrigerator and get what he wanted. If I let him graze, he ate all day. Good food, fruits, vegetables. I've seen you eat, Jess. You eat really good food. Grazing on good food throughout the day to help keep you full and energy. Because some people, like you said, can't sit and eat. Like if you have weight loss surgery, you can't eat 400 and 500 calories at one time. Some people just can't eat like that. So it's okay if you're a grazer, but snacking all day and grazing is not the same thing. That's different.
Yes, like I'm still eating full meals. My snacks themselves contain usually a protein, a fat, and a carb. It might not be like an actual meal. It's more of a snack, but it still has the macros within it that's going to carry me for the next couple hours that I need. And I know like with bodybuilding is a little more nuanced of like it is actual meals. It is like chicken, rice, vegetables, like that, but not a bodybuilder. So for me, like it's carrots and hummus and maybe like some fruit. And that's like my afternoon snack to carry me through. Maybe it's a rice cake with some peanut butter smeared on it to go with all that, because sometimes I need like a little bit of crunch to it. So it's clean. It's clean, like single ingredient foods for the most part, and it's to keep me energized. I'm not craving it. It's like, oh, I'm hungry, and for me, it's not dinner time yet, and I don't want to cook a whole meal right now. But then there's also like Sunday, I think I had dinner at like 5:15 p.m. because I got home and I was hungry. And I was like, I don't want a snack right now. I want a meal. Like I am ready to sit down and have dinner. And then I went and walked to Publix after to pick up some groceries that I needed. So it does. It depends on you. It depends. But it, like, to your point, I'm glad that you define like what is grazing versus just
snacking.
Yeah. Absent-mindedly snacking too. Because that's where people get lost. It's like, just like an open bag of chips or an open bag of something or like an open container, and their hand is grazing its way into that container versus a more thought out, it's on a plate, maybe it's measured out, maybe it's not, but it's separate from the container that it came in, and it's with intentionality. It's I'm going to intentionally eat this to carry me into my next meal so that I'm not craving, so I'm not overeating on my next meal, so that I don't overdo it and like let my hunger tank go completely empty and so on and so forth.
I think that's a really good example of people who don't want to feel like they're trapped just eating meals all day. I think an intelligent way to eat throughout the course of the day is breakfast, a snack, a meal, a snack, and dinner. And that's good. And if you want a late night reasonable snack, or like you said, like those rice cakes the chocolate rice cakes, the apple rice cakes, like maybe two of those. I make popsicles, BCAA popsicles, and I squeeze a lemon in it, and it's like the best that I can do if you have to have something that you know when you go to bed at night. But the bottom line is you have to find what works for you within reason. But when I say that, like you don't want to find what works for you because you just want to do what you want to do, right? You know, the whole key is to stay healthy and to make good choices. And that can be an array of things. You just have to find what works for you that's sustainable, but can also help you to reach whatever your health goal is.
Yeah, that's exactly how I eat is breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner, and then usually like a little evening. Usually it's right after dinner and one of those palate cleanser moments. So just like, I just need to
Yeah.
signify this is the end of me eating for today. And sometimes I don't do that. It really depends on the day and if I have plans after or not, honestly. If I'm by myself, I'll probably do it. But if I'm out or if like my boyfriend's over or a friend's over, I don't. So I know it's more me just it's like not a calorie thing, not a hunger thing. It's more of a craving thing in that moment or
Yeah.
a habit I guess I've implemented, but it's not a chocolate bar. It is literally a rice cake with peanut butter and jelly on it. Then that is what I like to have at the end of the day. So, all right, I want to move into another statement. If I want to lose weight, I should only eat salads for lunch and dinner.
That's not, well, we know that's not true. Cows eat salad all day and they're fat. No. Most salads, let's take iceberg veggie salad. There's like little nutrients in it. Um, you every macro has its place and it's important. Starving yourself is never the answer. Number one, it's not sustainable. Just eating salads all the time. You don't say you're not. You are going to binge later. It's not enough food. You're going to be hungry. That's not the way to lose weight. Are salads bad? No, they have their place. But it goes back to making sure that you're eating enough. And just eating salad all day, that's not sustainable and it's you're not getting all the nutrients that you need either. So no, that's not a good idea.
I think the opposite is also true of more so when you're eating out and getting salads is that there's so much stuff
Hmm.
in it that you're actually over eating the amount of calories, but you're like, but it's a
Very good
salad,
point.
so
That's
it's
right.
healthy. Versus like, if you make it at home, you're going to make it healthier for sure, but that's where
Yeah.
it's more of a catch 22 is like if you're not making a salad properly, if it doesn't have the right macros in it still for a full meal, then or for like your full meal is what you need, then you're going to be hungry and you're not going to be satisfied and you're going to just want to keep snacking throughout the entire rest of the day until you get to your next meal. But then the other side is sometimes salads have a bunch of crap in it and you're ordering that and you're eating all of it, but
Me
like I
too.
said, like psychologically, you're like, I'm healthy. I'm eating a salad. Why am I not losing weight? It's like, well, it's because there's a lot of food in there. It's a lot of calories in there.
Well, the salad has chicken and cheese and croutons and ham and ranch dressing. It's like the salad is 700 calories. It's seven. And then the portions of the salad is this big. Oh, the worst is probably a cod salad. Oh my goodness. The salad is this big. It has everything in it. Yeah, just because it's a salad doesn't mean that it's
Yeah. So
good.
it could be both sides of it. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you want to lose weight, you do not only need to eat salads for lunch and dinner. If you don't like salads, don't eat
No,
salads.
I don't like that.
I like salads sometimes. Like my meal prep this week is chicken salad. Well, not chicken salad. There's chicken in my salad. There's nuts, like a handful of nuts. There's a little, not even a full handful, like a sprinkling of nuts, sprinkling of dried cranberries. What else is in there? I honestly think that might be, cucumbers. And I'm not a huge dressing person, so it's one of those like pre-made salad packs things that
Hmm.
is like, so I'll buy two of those and I'll use the salads and I can't have the cheese, so that's not in there. and I don't usually put the crouton parts in there. And I break it up over the course of 5 meals. And the little dressing bag, like the tiny little thing that
Yes.
comes in it, I use half of that for the entire week, just because I'm not a huge dressing person. So I know when I make salads, like they are healthy. They're not overdoing it. They're not 700 calories. There's not a whole bunch of crap in it filling it up. But it makes me feel good, and I wanted to eat. I wanted to make it this week. Am I making it next week? Probably not, because I can't have it every single week. I'll lose my mind. That's one of those foods that I cannot eat all the time.
Yeah, I can't eat salad all the time. No, that's me. Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right. And Dee's saying that, and she's at 9% body fat right now. So you do not need to eat salads to lose weight.
No.
Okay, let's go to the last statement that I have. And I think this will be your favorite one. I have time to get healthy later.
Yeah. I think I hear a lot of this statement. I just want to live. You need to learn how to live. And I get that a lot because of what I do. And I always tell people I do what I do so I can live. I'm trying to live longer and live healthier. And it goes back to mindset and how you view health. It's not a punishment. It's to make you feel better. Looking good is a bonus. Just longevity of life, being able to take care of yourself. How about not be in pain? Weight and pain in your knees, pain in your back. All of it goes back to perspective and how you view things. But I get that a lot. My favorite statement is, Jess, when can you eat again? I'm like, what? If I didn't eat, I'll be dead. I mean, I eat. You see me just at the gym. I eat all the time. It's
Yep.
just
Always
that
behind the counter
all the
eating.
time I'm always eating. I just don't eat what you perceive as food, which is really messed up. That you're shocked when you hear someone say, I don't eat pizza. And they look at you like you're crazy. Like, you don't eat pizza? What? And my response just is, you do? You eat pizza? Oh my God. But it all goes back to perspective and how you view things. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the hardest part of being in this industry, or one of the hardest parts, is that preventative care that we're trying to promote of you don't want to be like this down the line. I've recently had, over the last couple of months, a lot of 29-year-olds come to me for personal training, which is very, like, they're all 29. It's because they see 30 and they're hearing all of a sudden, like, when you turn 30, everything starts going down. Like, it's downhill from that point. And I mean, it is true. Like, you start losing muscle mass, your body isn't responding as well to things, your metabolism is slowing down because you haven't done anything to maintain or to take care of your health. This is a 20-something podcast. Like, you're in your 20s, you're listening to this. You have so much, like, time is on your side so much, but don't let that be an encouragement for you to slack off now because you have time to catch up later, essentially. It's like, no, it's an investment. You're putting away money into your 401k. It's the same thing. You're putting in health into your body so that it can grow over time and you don't deteriorate as you get older. Your bones don't break. You stay fertile, you stay healthy. I have one client right now who's 37, I think, and she just talks about preventing menopause. She's had this conversation with you. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to delay menopause as best as I can. Like, I want it to be so far down the road because I don't want it to be early onset. That's scary for her. So she's been lifting weights for a very long time and eating well and, like, nourishing her body. And it's like, you need to be doing that for yourself today. It's not too late to start today. You do not have time to get healthier later.
Yeah, you don't have time. And once it's gone, it's sometimes it's just gone. Or you have to climb that mountain that's a little steeper than if you had started when you were young, and it becomes a healthy habit. But that's what most of us do. We wait until we get the diagnosis. We wait until now we're in full blown menopause. Now we find ourselves at 50% body fat, and we had willful blindness until it was put in front of us. And now we want to do something about it. But health, living healthy, working out, eating right, that should be part of lifestyle. And it's not a choice, it's what you do. Not leisurely when it's convenient because you're trying to live a little. Well, you want to live a lot, not a little. And don't wait until time is no longer on your side. And now you have to play catch up. Now, I see that the most. I do maybe about 6 or 7 phone consultations a week. My most common client are females who are now in menopause, and body fat percentage is over 40%. And they're like, what happened? I woke up and I had this stomach. I used to could just do this and the weight would come off. Now it's not moving. Now I want to do something. I'm like, well, you can still do something. It's just harder. You picked the hard road. So, to young people, pick your hard. I always say that. There's a hard that leads to reward, and there's one that leads to regret. Because when you're 40% body fat and you're in your mid 40s and mid menopause, it takes you double the amount of time to get the weight off. So do it now while you're young and make it a lifestyle. Can you still go out and enjoy your friends? Absolutely. Go out to dinner. Go to the bar and have a drink. It's just that shouldn't be 70% of your time. It should be leisure. It's something I do a cheat meal with my husband on Sundays. We plan it in advance. If I do something really over the top, like I'm going to a wedding or something, I plan ahead. I'll lose 2 pounds just because I know I'm going to put 2 pounds on. To thine own self be true. I know I'm going to do it. So these things are going to the bar for a drink, going out to dinner, things. Those are treats, not my lifestyle. But we go out and we eat every day because it's convenient. You say you don't want to eat the same thing every day, but you go to Chick-fil-A every damn day. Sorry, I mean say that. Every day. You go and you at
You can
Chick-fil-A.
curse on here.
Yeah. So you really are eating what you want to eat every day. Then when we tell you to do this, now you're bucking up against the system because, again, perspective. So while you're young, do it now. So when you're 40, it's easy. I'm a 55-year-old woman in full blown menopause, and most 29-year-olds, I can outwork them, outrun them, do a lot of stuff better. And it shouldn't be that way. You have to invest in your health because, again, once it's gone, it's gone. You need it. Just sustainable, just to sustain life, you need it.
Yeah, do it now while you don't have kids and you're not married, or most of you aren't married yet. Like, you have the time right now. It might not feel that way. That's where I come in as your coach, help you find that time. But you have the time to implement these habits now.
I hear people say things like, just one more thing, when they say to some of my clients, you go to the gym at 5 in the morning. Yes, this is their time. They go to the gym at 5 in the morning. They've made it a priority. Just if you make it a priority, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah, takes a little bit of time, but it makes it much easier, and it gets easier. Maybe not 5 in the morning. I feel like that's always oh my God, I don't want to be up right now. But you do it. You just do it, and you learned how to manage, and you're proud of yourself for showing up and for
Yeah,
doing
you're
so.
proud of yourself. Just show up. You don't have to be the best version of yourself when you go. Show up. Have the discipline to show up. You'll be so proud of yourself. Just the little things I actually ate well this week. You'll be proud of yourself. Not only will you feel better, but you accomplished something that so many people cannot. So you should be proud of yourself.
All right, what a great conversation. So thank you, Dee, so much for coming back onto How to 20 Something. Where can people find you if they have questions, if they want to work with you, or if they want to follow you?
So my web address is djsfitnation.com. That's DEEJS fitnation.com. That's also, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have some great workout tutorials and information about food. We sell meal plans on our website to get you started. We do lifestyle coaching, all those things to help you get started. We even just have 90-day programs to just get you started. Because, I had to have someone help me to motivate me. I didn't know everything. Having a coach, even if for a short period of time, is worth the investment to get you started. Jess also does that. Reach out for help, because a lot of people are making these mistakes. Because like you said earlier, they just don't know. And maybe they're embarrassed to say, I don't even know what is a macro. And that's okay. Look, you can either Google it or find coaches that'll teach you.
Yes. Which macro is abbreviated for macronutrient, just for all of you guys listening, if you don't know. But all of Dee's information will be linked in the show notes for you guys to access. But hopefully we cleared up some misconceptions about your nutrition habits, and that eating healthy doesn't have to be hard. Just stick to the basics and consistency, and you will be all right. On that note, this does conclude another episode of How to 20-something. So if you liked what you heard, if you learned something new, if you agreed or disagreed with what we had to say, or if you want to see this podcast thrive, then share this episode, send it to a confused friend, post on social media, and tag me and tag Dee when you do. And as always, I can't wait to be in your headphones again next week with another brand new episode.